Alrighty then. Well, hello everyone. My name is Krona. No, I'm not named after the virus. With me here today is DRF, who apparently has a name that's 7 points in Scrabble. And we are here today to host the first episode of the CCA PodCAst. So for those of you who weren't here 2 weeks ago when we hosted episode 0, the CCA PodCAst is designed to inform the CCA audience on current CCA happenings and reveal some of the grander storylines happening in our scene. It also serves as a celebration of our community and the members and teams that have competed in it. So with Season 4 currently ongoing, most of this podcast will be touching upon these events throughout each iteration of the weeks. However, afterwards we will start to expand to larger collegiate topics. And just as a warning, a lot of this project is still kind of a work in progress. Things will go wrong. Things already have gone wrong. So we just appreciate your willingness to stick with us through all the hiccups and difficulties and just kind of bear with us. So, here's kind of a quick overview of the episode. So we'll be recapping the Season 4 kickoff, just kind of some statistics and stuff that happened for the events, and then we'll be going to start to cover the most important and notable Week 1 matches that have occurred over the last week. This includes kind of the important matches and results that have greater effects on the groups and divisions, and highlighting some of the key teams and players that have emerged so far. We're then very excited to be hosting an interview with Death Roll, specifically with their captain Nitro and their other player Ambrosia. So we are very excited to host that. And then finally, we will wrap up with a preview of Week 2, which will cover some of the notable matches that will be happening this weekend and some of the stream matches that will also occur. So let's increase the counter and get started.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Krona, for that intro, and I can certify that, hey, things are already going much better than episode 0. This is why we had an episode 0. Everything looks fine on OBS. We don't have audio issues or issues with the recording or anything like that. So off to a much better start already. I'm proud of us. But like we said, first of all, let's dive right into talking about the Season 4 kickoff. So if you joined us for the reveal show, that was the second time we've ever done that, and that was so much fun. We got to talk about all 130 teams that are playing this season in the span of about just over an hour, I think. So 130 teams, that's massive. I mean, that is the largest ever CCA event. And I am just so excited about that. It's amazing to just see how this community continues to grow and exceed our expectations. I will take this opportunity to shout out Neptune for winning the staff contest for guessing the number of teams. So Neptune's guess was the closest without going over. So congratulations to Neptune. This is your official prize as a shout out on the podcast. But a couple of things that kind of surprised us with these 130 teams is just how many universities are expanding their programs and have multiple teams. I mean, now we all know it from the reveal show, but DePaul, I'm going to leave it there, is boasting 5 teams, which is a CCA record. I think we calculate that to be like, what is that, like 5-6% or something like that of the teams?
It's like 4% or something like that of all the CCA.
Yes. So DePaul has a weird growing empire. But a lot of also new and returning faces that, did not participate last season are here now. So it's going to be super exciting. A lot of big names as well that are going to be playing on some of their college teams. So that's going to be pretty cool as well. We'll touch on a couple of those names possibly later on. But just want to also touch on a couple of the changes as well from Season 3 into Season 4. Notably is that the division sizes have changed. Previously, all divisions were 12 teams. Now, only Division 1 is 12 teams, and 2 through 6 are 22 to 24 teams. Obviously, because 130 isn't like a perfect number, so Division 6 is going to just be missing 2 teams. So we have those expanded divisions, which first of all made it a little bit easier for us to see because, dear God, Krona, I think you noted that it would have been like 11 divisions if we actually kept the the previous metric of 12 teams per div, and we were not going to see that. But anyways, what that also does mean with these expanded divisions is that we have an extra week of playoffs. Every division, including Division 1, will have an extra week of playoffs. Divisions 2 through 6, the top 2 teams from each group move on to the playoffs and will play quarterfinals going into semis, then into grand finals. Then in Division 1, the top 3 teams from each group will move on. The number 1 seeds in each group will get that 1 week bye. The second and third seeds will play each other in the quarterfinals. So I believe that should cover... one more thing is the switch to tournament. So we're going to try out a new tournament platform as well. Previously we used Challenge, but I know this affected a couple teams last season, and actually historically it's affected multiple teams. Where Challenge, the issue there is that tiebreakers don't work out super well, so we have a very specific set of tiebreakers, and Challenge does not align with what is in our listed rule set. So with Tournament, we are now able to ensure that those tiebreakers should be right the first time around, should we get some funny business happening, which is almost a sure thing. And on top of that, we can also run things like double forfeits and a couple other things that Challenge just doesn't support. So we're excited about this tournament platform switch, and we hope you all are too. So it should be hopefully just a smooth transition with this. But again, hey, we're still learning. And there's bound to be a couple hiccups. You know, we're always innovating here at the CCA. So it's bound that, you know, not everything's going to be perfect with how much experimentation we do. All right. Cool. And then I think the last thing I had noted here for is also just a quick happy anniversary to all the universities and teams that joined us in Season 2. Season 2 was a year ago. It kicked off almost a year ago to the day. I believe we started October 10th of last year. So just over that. So crazy that it's been a year and we're already on Season 4. So, and we've grown over the Discord over 1,000 members. Literally at the start of Season 2, we had 500 members in the Discord. We now have over 1,500 members in the Discord, which is absolutely insane. We've tripled this community size in just over a year. So, hey, for those of you that were here in Season 2, shout out to you. You were here before, you know, we blew up to where we are now.
Yeah, it's crazy to think that Season 2 was a full year ago. Like, I specifically remember taking my time just to get WPI folks together to play in Season 2. And it's crazy to think that it's been a year since that's even happened. So, thank you to everyone who's joined us over the last year, who's participated, who's been in our community, and has helped us to grow to where it is now.
For sure.
So, thank you for the kickoff recap. Let's now move on to discussing some of the Week 1 matches.
Oh,
so,
boy.
In total, we had about 60 plus matches be played this first week. There's a few reschedules, hence why we didn't see like everyone play matches. And of those 60 plus matches, we already had 7 of those games end on Rainmaker Humpback, which you all know from the map list was Game 7. So it's exciting to see that so many teams and sets are being played the full distance, and that things are already quite competitive. So, me and Jeff are going to be walking through the divisions and seeing some of the notable matches and teams results that have happened over this past week. So, let's first start with Division 6, the bottommost of the division here. And the first match I want to highlight is Spoon versus Gator Eats Squid, with Spoon taking a 4-0 match over 4-0 win over Gator Eats Squid. This one is mostly memorable because this was our first stream match of Season 4. So congratulations to Spoon and Gator Eats Squid for being quite memorable in that regard. The other Division 6 we have here to highlight is Buy One Get One Free versus the Jelly Nose Calamari. Buy One Get One Free is University of Houston's second team, while Jelly Nose Calamari is a newcomer from Jinita College. Jesus Christ. Jinita College. And this was exciting for us as Buy One Get One Free was down 0-2 and then impressively pulled a comeback, winning the next 4 games. So congratulations to those two teams.
So, then jumping over to Division 5, our most notable matches of the week there. First of all, I want to touch on Palette versus the Geneva Suggestion. First of all, Geneva Suggestion might take the cake for the best team name this season. So we talked a bit about them in the reveal show. Still not quite sure this is a legal name. This might be against some sort of treaty out there, but unfortunately they do take an 0-4 loss to Palette. I do want to touch on this because Palette secures the first win for Canada in CCA history, coming out of Algonquin College. If someone from that university is around, please definitely correct us on the name, because we've just been doing our best on that. But hey, shout out to Canada, getting their first win. I do know that Palette struggled in entrance exam 2. I don't even quite remember their record. I want to say that they either went like 0-8 or like 2-8, something like that. It just wasn't a great first showing for them. But hey, they bounced back big here by securing 4 KOs against the Geneva Suggestion. So I think they're definitely finding their footing a little bit more here. Excited to see how they proceed through the rest of Division 5. And the other match from Division 5 that I'm going to cover here is Villanova Splatoon taking a 4-3 victory over the Ink Raiders Bravo team. This was the very first match of the season and also our very first Game 7 of the season. So that was very, very exciting for all of the staff when that result came in and we were like, oh shoot. Our first game of the season went to Game 7. Like, you can't have asked for a better start. Obviously, we wish we had that on stream, but I think that game was played like on a Wednesday night, so we just were not ready for stream at all by then. So, hey, shout out to Villanova, though. I mean, it seemed like it was a very hotly contested match. It was, I think it was only 1 KO, and all the other games were within 30 points of each other. So definitely a very close matchup there. There's a good chance that both of these teams could make the playoffs and we could see a rematch down the line. I, for one, would love to see that. But hey, shout out to both Villanova and Ink Raiders, and congrats, Villanova, for your first victory of the season.
I believe that was Ink Raiders' first league match as well, because they're a brand new team, if I remember correctly as well.
That is true.
So congrats and well done for putting your name out there, Ink Raiders. Moving on to Division 4. First one I want to highlight is Calamari Comets versus the Splatlanders. Mainly here, down 2-0, the Splatlanders pulled an impressive comeback, absolutely dominating the rest of the set. And this was in no part thanks to their Sorella tent player, Wanna Splat trademark, who coincidentally wasn't playing those first 2 matches. So, as you know, causation is correlation, so everyone should be running Sorella tent users for the rest of the league. The other Division 4 match I want to highlight is Stu versus the Stephen Executioners. Stu, being Purdue's 3rd team, I believe, is back for their second season. I believe so. They played last season.
Technically, season 2 as PPP.
Oh, that is right. Yes. They were PPP. So they had a very impressive showing against Stephen Executioners, and I want to give a quick shout out to Shoes from Stu for absolutely killing it with the carbon roller deco that set. Obviously, we weren't streaming that, but just looking at some of those stats that went in, wow, you just went all over. Absolutely dominating.
All right, then I'll go ahead and take the lead here on Division 3. So, God. All right, let's start with Div 3 has a number of interesting topics here. Let's start with the one that is probably less to say on it. So Volatile Radiance does take a 4-2 victory over the Bobble Hat Gang. Bobble Hat Gang being WVU, the Div 6 champions, now in Div 3. And Hofstra is a veteran team. They, I believe, won Division 2 in Season 2. And now find themselves in Division 3 after losing a couple of key players. But hey, they're still here. They're ready to kick some butt again in Div 3 and take home another crown. So now just trying to figure out exactly how they're going to rebalance this roster. And of course for WVU, it's still a strong first showing against some pretty stiff competition there. I really like both of these teams in their group. And this could once again be one of those scenarios where we could see both teams make the playoffs down the road. Who knows? Time will tell. Then jumping over to Death Roll. With that 4-3 victory over Golden Barracuda, we do have University of Florida members here. We will chat with them a little bit more about that set, but that one was absolutely crazy. There was like a DC in game 1. Death Roll had to like fight tooth and nail to get back in this set after going down big, but they pulled it off. Another game 7 victory. Kudos to Death Roll. Then Creamed Corn with the 4-3 victory over Tax Collectors. Creamed Corn has very quickly made a name for themselves in the CCA. For better or worse. Creamed Corn, I really don't know what to say. The University of Nebraska-Lincoln takes the Game 7 victory. I mean, they had 3 knockouts in that set as well, which is absolutely awesome for them. And then they also brought the first media coverage of the CCA question mark. I mean, we don't really know. I'm gonna be honest, we don't know what the exact answer is to that. Because we might have been covered somewhere else. We don't but this is the first that we are aware of. And in case you are not familiar with that article, let me see if I can bring this up.
I'll post in the chat too. Oh my god.
So, let me get that screen share real quick. Alright. And then, yeah, UNL Splatoon team aims to cream all over competition. I really don't know what to say to this. I'm gonna be quite honest. I have questions and concerns about everything here. So
oh my god. Shout out to Nino for making me aware of that article on Twitter, where I then just passed it to the CCA staff and we all were just dying for like an hour. So, moving on from Division 3 before we get trapped here, laughing our asses off about Creamed Corn. Division 2, we had Nightfall versus Squids, University of Wisconsin Whitewaters team. This is interesting as it was a Division 3 finals rematch, which, if you remember, it was Nightfall who took it, the match originally back in Season 3, and it's Nightfall here once again that wins the set 4-2. Moving on, we have California State University Long Beach Gold versus MSU Camp Juice. As you remember, Long State Gold was a brand newcomer during entrance exam who made very much a name for themselves, placing, I believe, in the top 12 at least. And there was we had a lot of questions on, how they could hang with some of the big Division 2 teams and just kind of see where their place is in the league. And we're very excited to see that this was a 4-3 victory for Long Beach Gold. So it's very interesting. So it's very exciting to see a newer team start to challenge some of the established collegiate powers here. Also very exciting to see that each team had 2 knockouts. Moving on to our final Division 2 match you want to highlight. It is Onsu versus the Ink Raiders Alpha. That's right. Both of the Ink Raiders teams get a shout out this week. So on the flip side, compared to the other match, we have Onsu taking care of business in Game 7, winning this set 4-3 against Ink Raiders. And it's very interesting to see both kind of how strong this initial Ink Raiders roster is in Division 2 and kind of see Onsu bounce back from some troubles it had at Riptide. So it's a very good start for both of these teams, and we're very excited to see what comes for both of them in the coming weeks. Is DRF, I think you're muted. I see. Do you have a quick fix, or shall I continue? Bear with us, everyone. This is why we have that warning at the front. Indeed, it is not a true stream without just a tiny bit of scuff.
Test. Oh. Test. Are you back? Hello. Okay, cool.
Hello.
Awesome. Yeah, I don't know what happened there. I think my mic literally died, so I just unplugged it and replugged it. Perfect. So, anyways, where was I? Covering Division 1, yes. So, gonna touch on all the teams here real quick. So, Michigan State, Penn State, and Red Embers out of Illinois State, all off to really, really hot starts, going 4-0 in their respective sets. PSU and Red Embers doing so on stream, and definitely displaying a good bit of dominance there. I do want to shout out the Comet Blasters real quick as well, because even though the Comet Blasters kind of are coming in with a very different roster from what we are used to from them, it is still full of a bunch of veterans, and hey, they're hanging with the rest of Division 1 without Nito, without Secant. I mean, those were two of their star players from the past 3 seasons, and the Comet Blasters are still here in Div 1. Huge kudos to them, because they're doing a fantastic job. Despite what the result might say in Week 1, I'm excited to see them play this season, and they're going to continue to give teams a little bit of trouble. But I think the sets that we really want to cover here, we had 3 Game 7s in Division 1. First of all, EA UCD Banana Split, taking the 4-3 victory over Reef Unleashed Gold. The reigning champions taken to a Game 7 in Week 1 by the Division 7 champions from last season, who probably shouldn't have been there, but again, you know, sometimes the stuff happens. A lot of information just slipped through there. They took that division easily and now are proving themselves in Division 1. Ultimately falling a little bit short, but hey, Banana Split getting the job done, and they ran like a pencil and an Anarchy Nova in Game 5 and 1 with a KO, but then they never proceeded to play those weapons again in the rest of the set. So like at some point I want to talk to Banana Split and just figure out what is the game plan this season, because just from Week 1 alone I have many questions about what's going on, because I mean, hey, they're figuring it out. It's just you're kind of scratching your head like Banana Split is just continuing to cook. I think that's the best way to put it. But the other match I want to cover as well, next Game 7, was Old Bay Brigade taking a 4-3 victory over the Night Sharks. This had to have been the biggest upset of Week 1. Because Old Bay Brigade, they were coming as Division 2 champions, but the Night Sharks are back-to-back runners-ups. And they have been second place so many times over and over again, and suddenly get upset in Week 1 by Old Bay Brigade. I mean, huge result there for that team out of the University of Maryland College Park. They showed it very quickly that, hey, they can hang with the best, and I think it's going to be a pretty interesting group there because Old Bay Brigade, I think, started out as like our 5th seed in that group, but I think they're going to be contending for a playoff spot. The Night Sharks now find themselves in unfamiliar territory, but if I'm the Night Sharks, I'm actually okay with this because the Night Sharks, the story for them for the past 2 seasons has been, wow, this team is unstoppable, and it just added a lot of pressure to the playoffs and, hey, trying to maintain that perfection. Now the University of Central Florida sheds that perfection in week 1, and I have a feeling that they're going to actually come out stronger because of this. So, hey, there's no longer a narrative that is putting pressure on them there. They can go ahead and pick themselves up and start a little bit fresh. So I'm excited for the Night Sharks and Old Bay Brigade to proceed through the rest of this group. Now, my match of the week, in my opinion, was UCSD Esports Gold taking a 4-3 victory over VC Wink Black. UCSD bias aside, looking at the stats and the screenshots, I had to go and ask for the replay codes here. And I got them. I'm going to try and go record this at some point because this was a banger match. Because this, first of all, was a rematch from week 1 of last season where UCSD won 4-1. And now Ink Black coming back, continuing to show that they have improved, just putting in the work through low ink and all the different other tournaments that they continue to participate in. Ink Black led 3-1 at the end of game 4. They led 3-1. They were on game point. And UCSD had to run and win 3 games in a row. Game 7 was decided by 1 point at the buzzer. Okay, if you have not seen the clip from that, I'm pretty sure it's circulating out there, but I believe it was Nerdy Adam had the Rainmaker, and as time was expiring, does a squid roll behind the rail as a Zuka is being shot at him, and somehow avoids the damage to secure the lead right as time is expiring. And UCSD proceeds to win that match 4-3. So that alone makes this my set of the week. And I'm going to make sure that this gets recorded because it is one for the books. I see Rare in chat. Rare's going to grab this clip for us because you all have to see this. It was just such a wild ending. And I think if I was commentating that, I would have cried. So we'll give Rare an opportunity here to grab it real quick, and then we'll hop into our next segment, assuming that we can get that. So there it is. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and pull this one up for y'all. Let's see. It's a quick 3-second clip, but my goodness. Like, what a play there. So it was just down to the very last Zuka shot. 3 members from Ink Black all going down, and somehow, some way survives to get the lead. I don't know. You can't draw that up. Like, it's just, it was just a great play call. Just, great intuition. Kudos to Nerdy Adam on that one. Right. So that is actually going to do it for our recap of week 1. I think we can go ahead and transition to our next segment. We have Nitro and Ambrosia here from Death Roll. Let's go ahead and bring them on in if we can grab them. If I can find you guys, maybe raise your hand, actually. That'll be easier. There we go. All right.
Hello.
Hello. Welcome. So Nitro Ambrosia, thank you both for joining us. So for those of you that don't know, Nitro and Ambrosia join us from Death Roll out of the University of Florida, one of 3 teams from that school this season. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct. The other 2 are the Grisco Gators and Gator Eats Squid.
Gotcha. Yes. Which are all fantastic names, by the way. So, but But yes, you guys, your first season was back in season 3, and you were the Division 4 runners-up, ultimately falling 2-5 against the IVC Diamond Rays. And Nitro, you were a member of the all Div 4 team last season.
That was actually quite a surprise. I didn't really expect to be on there.
Nonsense.
Dude, what are you talking about? You were hunting to get 30 kills the entire season.
I actually did get it in playoffs, but it never got recorded.
What?
Oh my god.
No. Oh man. Well, hey, congratulations, for that accolade there. That is a huge accomplishment. I don't know the exact stats on it, but I'm pretty sure you were like one of the more unanimous decisions in that all Div 4 team. I think you just killed it last year.
I think they were first in like 3 of the different categories we were looking at that
Yeah,
season.
like it's I don't know. So I appreciate the humbleness, but man, I think you were probably the easiest voted. So congrats to you on that. So Krona, I'll go ahead and hand this one off to you because I think we have a few questions that we would like to ask of Death Roll.
Yes, we would. Thank you so much for that introduction. So I guess we should first start with another introduction, or at least another perspective. Ambrosia, Nitro, would you do us the honors of giving us a little bit more information about yourselves, your team, and having anything you think we missed out on that quick introduction there?
Nitro, do you want to start?
Yeah, sure. So I'm filling in for our captain Ben this season as he's studying abroad in Australia. So
Oh, cool.
I'm kind of getting used to being like the main form of communication for our matches.
Awesome.
And
Yeah.
my name's Ambrosia. I was on Storm Cells last semester, which is the team name we competed under previously. And now we are an official UF esports team. We started the club, and that's why UF now has 3 teams for the first time this semester.
Okay, cool. And I know you kind of touched on it there because you guys were Storm Cells last season. You're now rebranded to Death Roll. So why the name change? What's the story behind that?
So Storm Cells was kind of formed by all of us like finding each other during a hurricane. We didn't have school. We wanted to play Splatoon. And then Storm Cells came out of that. And we competed together as a team, but one of our members graduated. And obviously our captain is now in Australia. And in order to join UF Esports, we wanted to kind of pick a different name because we did take on some new players and a lot of change had happened for us. So we figured it would be cool to pick out a different name. Also, we wanted a Gator themed name. For anyone who doesn't know, shout out to Oxel for coming up with this on one of our calls. But the death roll is something that alligators use to kill their prey by biting into it and then rolling around with it until it is dead.
Damn, okay, that is a lot more brutal than I thought, but that makes a lot of sense.
It's a very fitting name, I guess. Anyways, speaking about some of the transitions from Season 3 to Season 4, what did this summer look like for Death Roll? Did you guys compete in anything? Was it pretty stagnant for your members? Were people doing their individual things?
For the most part, we really didn't play much at all in the summer because we all had like internships going on and like volunteer opportunities. I'm pretty sure everyone apart from me participated in the study abroad. And then we all participated in an entrance exam. And off to the side, I played like a couple pickups in like some tournaments like SOS.
Okay, nice. Yeah, because it's always interesting kind of to see where teams are doing now. So like obviously we try to keep an eye on like low winks and FTIUs, LSLs, whatever, because a lot of college teams flock to those tournaments. So it's but not too many do. But that's awesome. I mean definitely excited to have seen you guys play in study abroad, or at least some subset of your team. But yeah, let's go ahead and pivot over to this week's match though. Because like we touched on in that previous segment, this was a seemingly wild match from start to finish. It went to 7 games. It was a very close set. There was only one knockout, which was in game 1, but that was with a DC, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we couldn't get that match streamed because Golden Barracudas was only available Thursday night. But we were actually very close to knocking out, and then we had a disconnect, and then they knocked us out on Splat Zone Ship Shape. So it was a very chaotic match.
Oh man, yeah, okay. I can definitely see why. That even just adds to the chaos, because like we were already thinking like, damn, like game 1 knockout, but there was even chaos within that game alone.
Yes.
Yeah, was it difficult for your team to kind of bounce back from that, basically having control of game 1, disconnecting, and then completely getting shut out for the knockback? Was it like difficult to like keep your mental up for those next few games, or did you kind of just like brush it off and didn't really think about it too much?
For the most part, we brushed it off because we knew it was a very winnable match. It was just very unfortunate to have that DC because, like I mentioned, Ben was the one that DC'd and he's in Australia, so like we didn't really have much control over that because of the connection. So he kind of just like switched to hotspot from that point forward, and then we had no more problems with that.
Oh jeez.
Oh no, not the hotspot in Australia. I am actually kind of surprised that y'all did not have another disconnect, because that sounds very risky. Oh, well, so I guess going into that match though, what was the strategy? Was there anything specific about Golden Barracuda or any of the map modes that you were kind of focusing on?
I know for me, I was very happy with Ship Shape being the first map of the season. It is, since it got released, it's been my favorite, and I really enjoy splat zones on it. Specifically with Heavy Edit, I think those weapons go really well together, that map and the weapon. I like to hang around the glass panels and peek around corners because people don't respect the Heavy Edit's fire rate.
That is fair. Let's see. Anything else? I guess, was there anything regarding Golden Barracuda at all, or was it kind of just, hey, we're gonna just figure it out as we go along?
We don't really do much scouting on our teams before the matches start, so anyone in Div 3, there's your advantage on us.
Yeah. I'm going to be honest, we had a single practice session before that, and we truly were just figuring out our team dynamics as the set went along.
Gotcha. Okay,
nice
that's
to
fair.
see that nice to see that you're still able to kind of, make things work again, and I'm sure that your previous season kind of really helped get familiar with each other once again. Moving a little bit more forward to the set, can you tell us the story behind Game 3, the Rainmaker Eeltail game? As reported from the stat sheet, the game was a 1-point difference, and there was also 10 seconds of overtime. Was Death Roll in the hunt for those last few points at the end, or were you just trying to hold back Barracuda?
Nitro, I don't remember. Did we win that game?
Yeah, we did, just barely.
Okay. It was the most stressful one, and I don't even remember winning because of how insane it was.
Yeah, so when overtime kicked in, everyone in Golden Barracuda basically had specials and just rushed us on our bridge, like our side of the bridge, and it was like very stressful because they whaled me when I was sharking, so I couldn't kill the Rainmaker user. And then I died to the whales, and I'm pretty sure Ben threw a splat bomb on like glass flooring, and it killed him at 26, and we had the lead at 25, and it was like I couldn't even believe we won that.
Oh man, okay, because normally when you see those 1 point difference overtime games, we assume that the winning team won it in overtime. You know, they came from behind to get the victory. But no, you guys, this was the exact opposite situation. You were in the lead and trying to dig your heels in for dear life to prevent Golden Barracudas from taking the lead, and you guys held them off.
Yes, this was the match where Nitro and I also learned that we love taking up the same positions. Me as a backline, him as a bucket user. And every time he got targeted with whale, he would pass it on to me.
Oh yeah, no, you gotta spread the love with the killer whales.
Yeah. And that's also why their specials usage at the end was so effective.
Hey, that's totally fair. But hey, you guys got all that matters is you came up clutch, and you got the win there. So, notes for future sets as well. Well, jumping to game 4 though, Clamblitz on Scorch Gorge was the last match that you lost, and you went on to win the next 3 games back to back. So, what changed after game 4 that put you all back on the right track?
Well,
I'd say the maps were kind of better for the weapons that we use because we're pretty limited on what weapons we play, and we're still trying to branch out and be more flexible. Because I remember on the Scorch match, the other team had a really good Dynamo player, and as soon as they got up on that sniping position, there was nothing we could do to push up on that basket, and it was really hard to like even approach them. But then when it came to matches like Humpback, it's like really easy to punish the backline players as like me using like buckets. But I couldn't really get that kind of advantage on a map like Scorch.
Hmm. Okay, no,
And
I
that,
then, do you
think
that's
have
totally
anything
fair.
to add?
Yeah, I think with our new players, we had a new player. His name is Rudra. He's been running NZAP and the new Wiper kit, which he and I were stepping on each other's toes initially as we were both running tacticooler weapons, me with heavy edit, and we figured out a way to work that out so that he was supporting us adequately. We wound up kind of just talking to our players about coordinating special usage a lot and really looking for opportunities to push up together as a team.
Nice. It's good to see, that team coming together, things clicking then
Mm.
for that back half. Another question regarding those 3 back-to-back games you won there at the end. The entire time you were 1 loss away from from losing this match. Did that weigh heavily on you all, or were you not even considering it and just taking it game by game?
I'm not sure if I speak for everyone, but that was definitely taking a toll on me because I was the Slayer. I'm like mainly the Slayer for the team. So like if I fed and did bad, like we were gonna lose because then there'd be like no one defending like our backline or our supports building special. But especially the haggle match, everyone knows how Hagglefish zones goes. It's just constantly capping the zone each team, and you just gotta see who can like win it out or get a pick maybe with like strikes or booyah to just like get that pick or get numbers advantage, as it's super important on that map especially.
Yeah, that was the map we decided to run double strikes on to be able to cap zone easily. I will say that like after every match on our call, everyone was like, "We can't lose. We have to win this one. We need to reverse sweep." So we were all very excited, but it was very present on our minds throughout the match.
Hey, and you came up clutch. So, it doesn't matter, how the first few games go. If you can pull it out in game 7 and win the set, that's what matters at the end of the day in the official, record books and for the standings and whatever. So, hey, you overcame the pressure. Good on you guys. So now as we kind of start to look ahead into the rest of the season, are there any particular regular season matchups that you are most looking forward to?
As of recently, we were under a coaching session with Donnie from the Farmingdale State Rams, so I'm pretty much looking forward to that match as we're planning on scrimming them regularly, like every week from this point forward in the season.
Okay. Cool. Ambrosia, is there anyone in particular for you?
Nah, he took the words right out of my mouth.
That is totally fair. So don't even remember off the top of my head. There's too many teams to remember, but
There's so many
I forgot
teams.
that you guys are in the same group.
Yeah, it would be
So-
nice though. Who won the like popularity poll to like win the set? I don't remember their name, but it's like
It was
For the
it
division.
was a 3-way tie.
oh, well, whenever we go up against them, that's gonna be in my mind. I love proving people wrong.
I don't think any of them were in your group either. Let me take a quick.
Yeah, I was gonna say, take a quick look at that Krona. Because I don't remember off the top of my head either. Who was the Div 3 favorites in fantasy?
I can't. No, it was Chark, Workers Union, and Bradley. None of which are in your group, unfortunately.
Oh, that does sound about right.
too bad.
So, basically everybody that I guess had won previously in another season, another division. So it was just a bunch of division winners that were the favorites. So maybe you'll get
Makes
one of
sense.
them in the playoffs. So
Here's hoping.
Yeah. Looking ahead, actually, about that, why should some of these other Division 3 teams kind of have you on your radar, or even not have you on your radar? What do you think? What do you think about your chances of moving on to playoffs?
I mean, compared to last season, I definitely see a lot more improvement as we were mainly a friend group, so we didn't really practice as a team much before our matches. Our practice would be like an open match 5 minutes before our like streamed match, which is like pretty funny. It was like our little thing that we always did. But this season we practice at least twice at night for like a whole rotation or even like two, which is really good because we're trying to become more flexible with our weapons. So we're always testing out different comps and we're practicing out which specials we can like push up with better and like which ones we should like not waste like strikes on my end.
awesome.
Anything
Wow.
to add there, Ambrosia?
No, I'd have to say I agree. We've like Nitro said, we had that coaching session with Donnie, and I think it helped to put our heads on straight that, you know, we are still all friends, but we're also a team, and we're in this to win it.
Nice.
Nice.
I love that determination going forward. Very excited to see what Death Roll can bring for Division 3 and see where you all end up. So,
Yeah.
DRF, do you have anything else to add?
No, I think that's really it. So just thank you both, Nitro and Ambrosia, for joining us. Feel free to plug yourselves real quick. Where can everybody that's joining us here today or watching this VOD later on find you all?
I have a Twitter, but I don't use it, and no, I'm not calling it anything else.
That is fair. Nitro, anything for you to plug?
I also have a Twitter. I'll probably just type it out so I won't have to like spell it out weirdly on stream.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us. If anyone wants to continue watching Death Roll throughout the this regular season, they're actually going to have their match streamed this Saturday night at 8:30 p.m. EST against Siberian Squids from University of Connecticut. So we're very fortunate to have them on our stream schedule for this week.
Yes, so thank you both, Nitro and Ambrosia, for joining us, and we'll be in touch with you all soon. So I'm really excited to see what Death Roll does this season.
Thanks. We are too.
Thank you for having us on.
Thank you
this was
guys.
fun.
All right. There we go. So slowly, there we go. Okay.
There we go.
Awesome.
So
Well,
Yeah,
that was
no.
a chat with Nitro and Ambrosia from Death Roll, so thank you to them once again. So let's go ahead, Krona, and start to wrap this one up with our top matches to look forward to in Week 2. Kick us off with Division 6, Krona.
yeah, let's do it. So we have three groups of matches here for Division 6. First one is the Table Terp Troupé versus UGA Red. This is notable as both of these teams are Week 1 winners, and this match could very much set the pace for Division 6 playoffs to come later down the line. Next is the Titans of Alterna Blue versus the Sun God Squad from UCSD. It is notable because this is a SoCal face-off, which I'm sure DRF is going to love to see the outcome of that. And our final match from Division 6 is U of A Axon Splatters versus UNM Splatoon Silver, and also the VCU Spirality versus Coastal Booyah Basins. Due to the fact that Division 6 is not fully does not have a full 24 teams, two teams did not compete in Week 1, so this will be the first Season 4 match for both U of A Axon Splatters and VCU Spirality. So we're excited to see these teams play for the first time this season.
Very nice. So Division 5, I want to just highlight one match here. My match of the week for Division 5 will be the Champlain Splatoon Cerulean taking on OU Academy B. This is the only matchup in Division 5 this week where both teams won in Week 1. So, a battle of two 1-0 teams. Who's going to stay perfect? Who's coming out on top? I am excited to see this one. I definitely, OU Academy B, been around a little bit. So again, this is also going to be of some veteran players taking on a brand new team, a brand new school. So I'm excited for this one. That is my Div 5 matchup of the week coming up.
Moving on to Division 4, we have Bash versus Splatlanders. Both teams have been around the block for quite some time here. Both went 4-2 in Week 1, with Bash winning their match against Splatlanders 4-1 in Week 3 last season. Both these teams are familiar teams with some new looks and new players, but it's going to be very exciting to see the duke it out here for us in Week 2.
Oh, exactly. And I want to add on to that a little bit because you're right. These are two teams that established brands, but missing some of their key players from previous seasons. As we know for Bash, I believe it was Cynthia and Rooster both played there, now playing on different Purdue teams in Division 2. So Bash gonna have a couple of new players there. Splatlanders had Fishy Fash on their roster last season. He is no longer playing for NJIT. So I'm really excited to see how both of these teams could kind of make those adjustments. Two teams that I really, really love. So this should be a fun one for sure. Division 3. My matchup of Week 2 coming up will be Griff Inc. versus the Golden Barracudas. After a tough loss to Death Roll, the Golden Barracudas are looking to get themselves their first win of the season by taking on Griff Inc., who I believe had a pretty dominant set in Week 1. Either 4-0 or 4-1, I can't quite remember off the top of my head. But Griff Inc.'s been around for quite a while from William and Mary. So another veteran squad that should be fun to watch.
Yeah, no, to elaborate a little further, Griff Inc. went 4-0 against Farmingdale State Rams
there we go.
and round Week 1. So it's gonna be very interesting to see these dominant teams kind of face off here. And like you said, this match could have some very lasting effects for this group at large. Moving on to Division 2, the one I am most excited for is IVC Diamond Rays versus Carne Exada, the Carne Exada Fries. For those of you who were here for the last episode or have been paying attention over the summer, this is a rematch of Booyah Bowl 2's Silver Bracket Grand Finals match, where I believe Diamond Rays won, I think it was 4-2 against Carne Exada Fries. So it's going to be very interesting to see these two kind of competitive CCA teams duke it out once again, and to see if Carne has a little bit of vengeance from their loss over the summer. The other match I wanted to highlight is We Aquatic Little Creatures versus MSU Camp Juice. And once again, folks, we have a Purdue versus an MSU game, as tradition always stands. So it's going to be very interesting to see these two teams duke it out from these very established collegiate Splatoon programs.
And just to make sure that we have this accurate, so IVC won 3-1 in Booyah Bowl 2, Silver Bracket Grand Finals. So hey, this should be a really exciting rematch. IVC very quickly growing as a team and looking to really make some noise in Division 2. So then lastly, Division 1, the 2 matchups of the week to watch out for. First of all, I have Red Embers versus Reef Unleashed Gold. Red Embers winning 4-0 against the Comet Blasters in week 1. Reef Unleashed Gold falling just a little bit short against Banana Split. Both teams looking to just continue to establish themselves here as newcomers to Division 1. Should be a lot of fireworks in that matchup. I am looking forward to it. And my second matchup of Division 1 to watch out for is the Night Sharks taking on UCSD Esports Gold. Both of these teams just continue to find themselves in some very crazy sets, and I think this set will be no different, as we last saw these two teams play each other in Booyah Bowl 2 semifinals, where UCSD was up 2-1 before the Night Sharks came back and won that set 3-2. So this should be a very explosive matchup. I am so excited to see what the result is on that one. And yeah, I think that's all of our matchups to look forward to in week 2, Krona.
Yeah, it's going to be a very exciting week for CCA at large. So that's all the matches we had to review. Coming up, obviously, we have our week 2 streams are happening this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. On Friday night, you can expect 2 matches with Division 6's Spoon versus Splatoon Gold at 8 p.m. EST, and with Division 1's Y-Rim versus VCU Ink Black at 9 p.m. Saturday night, we have, as previously mentioned, Division 3's Death Roll versus the Siberian Squids at 8:30 p.m. EST. And then finally, we have a triple header for Sunday nights with Champlain Splatoon Curlew versus OU Academy B from Division 5 at 8 p.m. EST, PSU Blue versus the Comet Blasters of Division 1 at 9 p.m. EST, and Division 3's Griffink versus Golden Barracudas at 10 p.m. that night, EST as well. So there's a lot to look forward, and we hope you all can join us for some of those matches and can tune in to see some great Collegiate Splatoon action. As for the podcast itself, we are aiming to have another episode out next week, ideally next Wednesday night. However, we'll have to kind of confirm in the back rooms and see how things are going before we can officially announce it. But rest assured that there will be podcast content out within the next week that will talk about these week 2 matches that we've already hyped up in such a format. So, thank you everyone for joining us tonight for our show. DRF, where can the good people here find you?
Yes, you can go ahead and find me on Twitter at DRF_Splatoon and on Twitch at TritonDRF. But per usual, you can always find me right here in the CCA Discord and on the CCA Twitch, making sure that everything's running smoothly and we get the best coverage of all things Collegiate Splatoon.
You can find me at Comrade_Corona or on Twitter, or probably in the League help desk answering questions at some point throughout the weekend. So thank you all for tuning into our show tonight, and have a wonderful evening.
See ya.